Good morning, everyone. I think we'll get started. It looks like committee members are here and staff are here. Please check the city website for additional meeting detail information. Meetings can be viewed via live streaming on YouTube and the city website. Just like to take a pause for a moment here. The City of London is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee, the Lupanawak, and the Etowondran. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. Today, as representatives of the people of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication supports for meetings upon request. To make a specific request to this meeting, please contact cwc@london.ca 519-661-2489, extension 2425. We'll move on. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? And I think Councillor Ferreira is joining us online. I see none. Moving on to the consent items. There are a number of consent items. I am looking to committee members wishing to pull any. I see none. Councillor Trousseau?
I will move the consent item, the consent calendar in its entirety.
Looking for a seconder in Councillor Frank. And with that, I'd like to go to committee members with any questions, comments. Councillor Pribble.
Okay, I'll start. And through the chair to the staff, first of all, I guess 2.2, congratulations, 5 years in a row, 100%. I think that's fantastic. So thank you for that. I have a couple of things going back to 2.1 and comparing kind of the last years, even though we were 100%. One of the things, and when I look at the maximum acceptable concentration, and there are certain like regulated inorganics, and the maximum is, for example, 5,000, and we are at 13 to 17. Barium 1,000, and we are 13 to 23.6. Is this really kind of such big differences, or are we kind of in line? And how do we rank compared to last 5 years? Are we better, same, worse in these categories?
Councillor Pribble, through the chair, what question, what consent item are you referring to?
2.1.
I can go to staff.
Thank you. And through the chair, I'm actually going to have Mr. Dan Huggins speak to this one as it gets into very detailed chemistry, which he is excellent at.
Welcome. If you can just lift your mic up a little bit closer and speak right into the mic.
Thank you. Through the chair, yes, you will notice that the maximum acceptable concentrations allowable in Ontario drinking water are generally orders of magnitude higher than are found in London water. We're very fortunate to have some very clean source waters in Lake Huron and Lake Erie. And after the treatment process, you'll find that the levels of contaminants in our water are extremely low. And to the second point about how they compare to previous years, we're also fairly fortunate that the lakes are a very stable water source. Something like a river can have a great deal of variation seasonally, but we are fortunate to have a very high quality water consistently, and that has not changed much through the years.
Councillor?
Thank you very much, and very glad to hear that. In the report, it states that these reports are given free of charge via different sources, and it says also via government office. How do we do it via government? I know it says our website, but it also says via government office. How is that being promoted or posted?
And
Still
again,
2.1.
going to staff?
To the staff, through the chair to the staff, yes.
So how do we get the information out on,
Through the government, because it states we do it through the government office, so I was just curious, how is it through the government office?
Through the government office, anyone who walks up or comes up to the ninth floor or anywhere in City Hall, if they request it, we will make it available to them either by print or give them an email version of it on PDF. It is currently posted on our website as well, in the water service area under reports.
Thank you, and again, through the chair to the staff. And I know it seems like we didn't select or we don't use libraries through that. Is there a particular reason, or we don't think that it potentially would be meaningful?
Through the chair and staff, you mean like through public libraries?
Correct.
It's just something that we've never done. The regulations don't specify where we would want to post it, but to print off copies, to put in every public library, it may not be that well, like not many people request it. Most requests come from restaurant industries who need to look at the fine detail of the water quality. But we could always have them available in public libraries. It just, you might print off way more than you would need and it would be a waste of paper.
Counselor?
Thank you, and through the chair, I certainly would not recommend that. I meant more kind of online through the library sources. I would not print additional reports. So that was just my question. But again, if we are talking about printed, I certainly would not recommend that.
Yeah, but online through the library, they can go to our website and download it and probably print on request for anyone who would want it. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm going to leave it to my colleagues. I have some questions, 2, 3, and others, but I don't know if my colleagues have maybe questions to 2.1, 2.2 as well, so I don't jump back and forth.
I'll go to committee members. I see none. I do know that we have a visiting counselor. Welcome, Councillor McAllister. If you're here to make comments on 2.3, I would think, go ahead.
Thank you, and through the chair, appreciate the opportunity to be back as a guest. Just can't get enough of Civic Works. I'm just here, actually, good news story. 2.3, the Hamilton Road and Gore intersection. I did go to the public engagement session, and just echoing the comments that were in the report, the roundabout is absolutely what I'm hearing from my constituents in terms of what they would like to see at that intersection. I'm very happy that we had the Hale Trafalgar roundabout kind of as the testing ground for East Londoners getting used to roundabouts. And there's a lot of excitement in terms of that project. So I just wanted to say thank you to staff for the work on that and express my ward's happiness to see that finally come to fruition. And if anything, what I'm hearing is they just want the project moved up. If they can make it happen faster, they would absolutely appreciate that. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, for being here. Any other comments? We do have a motion that has been seconded with the consent items. Councillor Pribble?
Thank you, through the chair to the staff. At this point, 2.3, it states there that potential start could be 2026, and the estimate cost 6.7, and property acquisition 2 million. But it does state about the properties that the identified properties will be more thoroughly done through our real estate services at a later time. The 2 million, so how did we estimate it, and how accurate this amount is of the $2 million?
Mr. McRae?
Yeah, it's through the chair. It's a comprehensive team that works on these projects, and Realty are part of that. So we rely on Realty Services to provide the estimate. So at the environmental assessment stage, I think it's fairly high level. It's based on market values, and they have a pretty good sense, or Realty staff have a pretty good sense of market values. But obviously, there's a whole lot more detail to go into once they engage with property owners and get into negotiations.
Thank you, and follow up. So the real estate already has been involved in this $2 million estimate. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I see no further questions on the consent items. We do have a motion One more question, Councillor Pribble.
I'm sorry, one more note. I didn't see if this project was to go ahead, the source of financing for this project. What source would it be? Where would it come from?
Mr. McRae?
This is a growth project, and therefore the bulk of the funding is development charges via the City Services Reserve Fund, with a smaller component from life cycle renewal accounts for the life cycle renewal benefits that the network receives.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we can proceed to vote. Can we just pause? There is another question. Okay, we'll just cancel the vote. Councillor Pribble?
Thank you. And last couple of questions regarding 2.8, 2.9, through the chair to the staff. And maybe I missed, I thought, in terms of the green bins, I thought Converters had a contract for the entire City of London. And now for the Miller, it says that there are certain parts of London that will be done for them. And I just want a clarification from the staff about these 2.8, 2.9. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Mr. Sanford?
Through the chair, this refers to collection, not processing. So the materials collected in this area by Miller Waste Systems go to the same location, Converters, and have been since January 15th.
No more questions. Thank you.
Thank you, and we can proceed to vote.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to our scheduled items, 3.1, we have a delegation here. Mr. Samuels, welcome to committee, and you have up to 5 minutes.
My name's Brendan Samuels. I'm the chair of the environment.
Mr. Samuels,
Yep.
just move the mic up a little bit closer. You seem a little hunched over there. So we
Is
can
that
hear you.
better?
Much better.
Okay, I'm a little too tall for this setup, but that's okay. My name is Brendan Samuels. I'm the chair of the Environmental Stewardship and Action Community Advisory Committee. Today I'm here just to provide something for information for the committee. No real further action is needed. This is a draft work plan for our advisory committee for the upcoming calendar year. So we're now going into the second year of our committee, full year doing its business, and we're trying a new approach that we're hoping will create more predictability for you and for staff to be aware of what our committee is working on. I'm not sure if this was included in your agenda. It was voted on by our advisory group. I'm just going to quickly go through the items that are listed in here just for your information, and then would be happy to take any questions you might have. The first is a communications checklist. So following consultations with city staff, something that was suggested as a way our committee could help with education for community about the Climate Emergency Action Plan is to develop a checklist that could be used in preparing communications for the city. And that can help to make sure that communications are being diversified, that they're reaching different stakeholder groups in the city. No one single message reaches everybody. We can't just be using cookie cutters. Instead, we're trying to create messaging that's more holistic and well-rounded. That is one item on our list. There are a few documents related to the Climate Emergency Action Plan we'll be taking a look at. You'll be receiving an adaptation discussion paper coming up in, I believe, February or March, as well as a progress report in May to June. We'll be looking to provide comments on that as well, working with the staff. There are a few other document reviews coming up this year. The Mobility Master Plan, one was suggested was the Land Needs Assessment, the Site Plan Control Bylaw Update with respect to green building standards, the Urban Forest Strategy and Tree Planting Strategy as they arise later this year, Rethink Zoning, the Design Specifications and Requirements Manual if they should need to be updated related to climate change planning, And finally, the last category on our list are items related to naturalization and stewardship, which also falls under our committee's mandate and is quite closely linked to the adaptation piece of climate change planning. We are looking forward to receiving an update on the naturalization of boulevards and reduced roadside cutting policy that's subject of a business case in the multi-year budget. So looking forward to that outcome. And then working on follow-up pieces to the yard and lot maintenance bylaw update and public education, really trying to make it easier for private landowners to engage in stewardship and planting, as well as planting more trees. And we are also hoping to look at working with parks and other divisions on naturalization in public lands. I had an exchange with Paul Yeaman just yesterday about parkland and opportunities moving forward to maybe reduce mowing in areas where it makes sense to do so. That probably won't fit on the work plan for their group this year, but nonetheless, our committee is hoping to take a look at the available mapping data to compare where in the city it might make sense and to provide recommendations. So just to conclude, these items on our work plan are just here for your public information. It gives you a sense of what we will be working on. If you notice anything coming up on an agenda or if you have any questions, we always love to hear from you and are happy to share feedback. Some of these items might take longer than this calendar year to actually be implemented, but this is the scope of what we are hoping to look at through our review process. And with that, that's all I had, so happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from committee? Councillor Trussell.
Just to start by thanking you and your committee members. This is just such an impressive array of work that you're taking on, and we really appreciate the work that you do. I do wonder though, could this type of report, which was just presented to us orally, could the clerk include reports like this to the report that comes to us so we can see it in our agenda?
That's a question for clerk. If this update could be reported to us in the agenda.
Through the chair, at an advisory committee meeting, if a motion is passed by the community advisory committee that an item be attached to the report, we can do that. Perhaps once the work plan is complete, it could be attached to the next report, next meeting, and it would come to the Civic Works as part of that report.
Council?
So through the chair, so I would request that you as the chair make sure you append those special words to your reports, because it really helps us understand what your committee is doing. Thank you, and again, thank you very much.
Any other questions, comments from committee? I see none. I too want to add my thanks to the advisory group and Mr. Samuels. Thank you for being here. I think it's important we do connect, and there's a lot going on, we heard. We want to see those reports and what you're doing, and it seems like there's a lot going on. Get that motion in so we can see the attachments of the work. So again, many thanks. And do we just receive the delegation?
We can receive the report and the delegation.
So I have a motion to receive the delegation and the report. Councillor Frank is moving it, and Councillor Trussell is seconding it. And can proceed to vote.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to 3.2, we do have a public participation meeting, Gold Seal and Forney Municipal Drain Improvements. I'm looking to committee to open up the PPM. Councillor Trussell, seconded by Councillor Ferreira. And we'll have a motion to open the PPM.
Councillor Pribble? Closing the vote, the motion carries 5-0.
I'd like to maybe just quickly go to staff and give us a quick update on who is here and why we are here.
Thank you. Through the chair, so this drainage work is related to the MTO project, the Colonel Talbot overpasses and 401. So these drainage works were initiated by the MTO as the road authority. So this report sets out the engineering reports for both drains. We are joined today by Jessica Trella, our drainage superintendent, and our consultant from Spreed Associates to answer any questions.
Thank you. And with that, I don't see any technical questions, so we'll just move on to the public. If there's anyone here from the public that would like to speak to this at this public participation meeting, just state your name and address if you wish, and you do have up to 5 minutes.
Yes, my name is Hope Johnson.
Just a little bit closer to the mic.
My name is Hope Johnson. I'm here from the Stone Ridge Travel Center, Inc. at 6675 Birtwhistle Lane at the corner of Highway 401 and Colonel Talbot Road. We have a property there, a hotel, conference center, chapel, and a house. And we're concerned about how this drain is going to affect our property. Right now, our main entrance is going to be expropriated, and we have a stormwater pond there that's going to be that has been expropriated by MTO, and we're not happy about any of that because it's taking that pond away and it's moving that the stormwater pond over an area that's close to our fresh drinking water wells, which are the only freshwater drinking wells in the whole area. Everything else is sulfured. The chapel and the house that we have on the property that we own is sulfured, and we're very concerned that that's going to affect our a lot of things. Okay, and we don't know who to address this. We need to talk to people from the city because MTO is just stormwater. You know, they're just running all over us. But this is the city that's involved, and apparently they're saying that this new stormwater pond is a city bylaw. But you know, it's the frontage of our whole property, taking up a third of our frontage, and we won't be able to build anything on there, and it's just a mess. And we don't know how this Forney drain is gonna be connected. I know they're making it. They're making this it's called the Super Truck Plaza trunk. That's going to be that connects us to the Forney drain, and we don't have any elevations. We really don't have much from the city. MTO is in charge, but we need to speak to people from the city. We're on Birtwhistle Lane, and that Birtwhistle Lane water right now is going into our stormwater pond. It's ruined we put in a dry hydrant into the pond. We deepened the pond according to the city bylaws. And now that MTO's expropriated that area, so that stormwater pond now is filled with rubble coming from off the stones and everything and the soot off the street. And it's filled in the pond. The hydrant, the dry fire hydrant, is no longer operational. It's not working anymore. And we feel that, you know, as a hotel operator, we're liable for, you know, anything that happens in respect to fire. And MTO isn't prepared to replace the dry hydrant for us. And come on over here. And this is Peter Johnson, my son. He wants to add something.
We're really concerned about the actual movement of the entrance where it is located now. They want to move it further down south towards St. Thomas, and that's a really big concern for us. The property was a truck stop at one point. We did have a full-service petro and diesel gas station there to allow heavy trucks to come in and out. and them moving the entrance and redoing the stormwater drainage pond is definitely going to impact our business with trucks, with hotel guests, with everything that we've done there in the past 26 years. And all the water that's coming off of Birtwhistle Lane, which is a city street, is being diverted into our pond. And also, there's no curbs on Birtwhistle Lane, and that water is also running into the Birtwhistle house that's located next to the chapel. And it's been flooding our basement. So it's a really big concern for us, this whole project that MTO has been doing. We've been talking to them since, well, 26 years ago about this whole project. And, frankly, we just want it left the way it is. It's not, we have a big concern about how it's going to disrupt our business. We've built a really successful business in the last 26 years, which was very difficult. And it's a huge concern because this is our livelihood.
And thank you. You have 30 seconds left. If there's anything else you'd like to say?
Well, we'd like to see if we could address this also via email and write our concerns down on paper or just so that we have record of that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here from the public that would like to speak to the drain improvements? And I assume there's no one online. And with that, I'll look to the committee to close the public participation meeting. Councillor Trousseau, seconded by Councillor Pribble.
Sorry, can I just address one more thing, just quickly? We'd like to invite the city to come have a look at the property.
I appreciate that. I'm sure you can reach out to the city as well. Councillor Trousseau?
So my
Sorry.
confusion.
Hold on, I'm still voting.
Oh.
Sam? Closing the vote, the motion carries 5-0.
Any questions? Councillor Trousseau?
May I ask through the chair to appropriate staff, is there something within the purview of the city that could address the concerns that are raised, or is this a matter between them and the province?
Madam Chair, staff have met with the owners at this location. Our role largely are related to the municipal drain improvements initiated by the MTO. A number of the concerns raised today by the owners of this property are related strictly to provincial jurisdiction. That said, if there are matters that the city are able to resolve, staff are happy to work on those, but the concerns about the impact to existing infrastructure, future development, and access are all related to the MTO overpass project, and unfortunately outside the jurisdiction of the City of London.
I know the residents in the gallery had a hard time hearing that, but if I can just say that the concerns are related to the Ministry of Transportation. They are the ones that have the, this isn't a debate back and forth. I'm just passing on staff information to you about the overpass that is done by the provincial government and the MTO. I would ask, maybe if the committee would allow me to ask a question to staff, who would the residents reach out to at the city to provide that information for them to move on?
Madam Chair, we may have some ability with respect to drainage related to the roadway. So Shauna Chambers is our Division Manager of Stormwater Engineering. I believe she has already met with the residents, and we're happy to do so again. If there are matters of municipal jurisdiction, we're happy to work with them.
Thank you. And just so the residents can hear that Shauna Chambers, who has met with you, is willing to meet with you if you have any further questions around the municipal part of it, and then reaching out to the Ministry of Transportation. So I would encourage you to reach out to Ms. Chambers and proceed from there. Thank you. Okay, before I take another question, I am looking for a motion from committee members. Councillor Frank?
Thank you.
And seconded, hold on. So there is a motion on the floor. I need a mover. Councillor Frank, seconded by Councillor Trussell. Councillor Frank.
Thank you. I was just going to comment that perhaps they should be in touch with their city councillor and their MPP, but they've left. So thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor. And with that, we can proceed to vote.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to items for direction. I don't see any deferred matters, additional business. I see none. And with that, I'm looking for adjournment. Councillor Trussell, Councillor Frank, and I guess we should vote?
Just a hand vote.
Or how about a hand vote?
That's carried.
That's carried. Thanks, everyone.